Everybody. Just getting the old feeds fired up here. There's a lag between all four of them. So, hey, good morning, Instagram people. Instagram's always the first feed to go live every morning. Happy Sunday morning here, and it looks like the rest of them are coming online now. So we should be live in Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Bom dia, my friends down in Brazil. We got some people watching down there. Hey, everybody. Good morning. I'm Nick Slavic. I'm the proprietor of the Nick Slavic Painting and Restoration Company. I'm also the host of this show, Ask a Painter Live. It is a weekly live YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook show, sometimes TikTok, where we talk about the life of a master craftsperson and a paint business entrepreneur. So today, a couple things here. I got a whole bunch of notes. And got some data, got some dashboards to share with you. We're going to talk about a bunch of in-person events coming up, where you can see me live throughout the year. I'm rounding out my calendar for the year. I'm going to share with you a project that I've been working on, not very public yet, but it's my operations manager dashboard. More about that later. We're going to talk about some marketing, and of course, I think we're going to officially start our exterior season this week as well too. So weather looks like it's going to shape up. So as with all things, everybody watching right now, I got all the feeds pulled up. Any questions you guys have about anything? It can be about oil primer. It can be about managing humans. It can be about marketing. It can be about market conditions, all that other stuff. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. If you want to propose a topic, we're here for that on this Sunday morning. So coffee in hand. The birds are chirping outside. My little Slavic farm is coming to life. We got ducks, we got cranes, we got geese, we got mammals, we got deer on the trail camera every night. It's always a fun time when you start seeing the little green shoots pop out of the ground, and it's a glorious time, especially for us in the upper Midwest here. So, number one, let's talk about some in-person events coming up here. Oh, Dominic Crowley, how's it going, man? From across the old pond there. Number one, this is the big one, folks. There's a concentration of events, especially painting contractor association events in the fall and winter, because that's when we know we're not that busy or not as busy as we were. But there is one big event in the spring here, and that is the Craftsmanship Forum. We have breathed a whole bunch of resources, time and money into this thing. We got the biggest most well-known influencer master craftspeople from around the country coming to this thing. It's going to be in Maryland here, and it's absolutely awesome. I will urge you guys to be there. All our biggest vendors are going to be there. We're going to talk about the deepest science of historic restoration, restoring old windows, the latest technologically advanced coating systems for cabinets, the craziest spray equipment, the air-assisted airless, the crazy, guns and heating up your fluid and all this other stuff. And it is the highest end of the craft for what we have. So I will say this, folks. You don't want to miss these sort of things. They come around once a year. You're not going to get a chance to get in the room with people like this. Register here, the full schedule. You can see all the speakers, all the topics, all the days. That is this week. You're going to have to register very quickly here. This is the Craftsmanship Forum for the PCA, the Painting Contractors Association. So I will urge you to be there and be with all these awesome people. There is, we have a bunch of places you can see me. If you want to know any other Painting Contractor Association events, they are on the website where that Craftsmanship Forum is. Now, here's the deal. Every year about this time, we really start building out the schedule for myself when I travel around the country. So you can see my own notes for this show here. This is what we have coming up here. So the 4 that I booked for sure, we're probably working on about another 4 in different areas around the country. 17 April in Kansas City. We'll see you there. That's a couple weeks away. 15 May in Indiana. Some of the locations for these are TBD. They're going to be in those general areas, but we're doing the final prep for these things to make sure that we have the places there. These are Sherwin-Williams master's classes, and the district leadership for each Sherwin-Williams figures out the food, figures out the location, and then we work together on education. So a lot of these, I have my plane tickets already booked. I have my hotels already booked. I just have to wait for the final confirmation of this is the actual restaurant that we're going to. This is the banquet hall. This is the event center that we're going to. So if you want more information, you get a hold of your Sherwin-Williams rep or you get a hold of me and I can send you all that information. 17 April, Kansas City, 15 May, Indiana, 18 June, Cincinnati, Dayton, somewhere in there, and 26 June, coastal Virginia. I'm working on California. I'm working on Washington. I'm working on Iowa. I'm working on, I think we're working on a Florida. I think we're working on a Texas. So more to follow here. I don't have any other information on those. If you guys say, Nick, when are you planning to come to Sacramento, California? I'll say, well, here's my list. If it's not on there, I don't have any formal plans to come, but there's a great way to get me in your area. You email me, nick@nickslavic.com, and then we can get a hold of a potential underwriter in your area, and we can get a master's class started in your area. I did that, and 3 people put their Sherwin-Williams rep, their Benjamin Moore rep on there. We all got on an email, and we're starting to talk about getting me to those areas. So also, one thing I want to talk about is the PaintScoutX conference, which is super cool. It's a virtual event coming up here. I will be doing some hosting duties, some data stuff. I got a whole bunch of stuff brand new from my business to share, especially Maket Indicators, which we're going to talk here in a little bit here. And it's just absolutely awesome. Check out PaintScout. PaintScout is industry leading estimating software and a business operating system. And we use it in my company. And I will be there heavily representing the data and the feelings from my company for that event so we can improve the industry. So, all right, everybody. Let's get into some more fun stuff here. Let's see. Randy Jarrett would love to have certain collaboration for podcasts for PCA Overdrive that I can have trainees be able to listen to them when we onboard them. It's hard to find certain podcasts to use for my guys to listen to. I think it'd be helpful for training. This is separate from my, yeah, absolutely. Randy, right now, what most people will not see is we just entered into a 2-year deep dive educational initiative where we have a retired college professor going through all of the content in our industry and specifically the PCA, all that other stuff. And we are going to create steps and lanes and a learning management system and a much more guided sort of area here. And it's going to be it's going to be something when we're done with this on the line of college curriculum. So you're going to start in these lanes. If you want to learn about job costing, there's these things, the finance of a business. If you want to learn about the craft of a business, but it's very much more curated and it's very much more concentrated into lanes of education. So more to come on that. But as anything good, and especially for a 140-year-old nonprofit, it's going to take some time. Randy, you do your best. If you need a resource, you can always contact me. You can always contact the PCA. And of course, get on ChatGPT, get on Google and say, I want a PCA podcast about job costing. And all these things can help you curate those things. And happy to do this. So William Ziga, good morning from Ghana here. My friend, you converse often with me online. I appreciate the heck out of you. And again, any questions, any comments you guys have, here for you as well. I'm watching the Instagram feed. I'm watching the Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn as well too. Whatever you guys want to talk about, you can. I'm going to tick off my series of topics right here. And then I'm going to go out there and do land management because it is land management season. And land management for me on my farm is everything from planting native prairie, restoring some of the biomes here, planting trees, trimming trees, cleaning up the creek, maintaining the grounds, trimming all the various little things around here, planting food plots, putting up, wood duck houses, all this sort of fun stuff. So this is absolutely great here. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Let's get into some market indicators. I always like to start off with some market indicators. So there's a whole bunch of feelings out there in the industry right now. I have those feelings as well, but I also have a bunch of data. And I've been through 2 fairly large macroeconomic downturns, right? I started my business in 2007, and shortly after was the Great Recession. And then we went through the years 2020 to 2023, give or take, and we went through a global pandemic. And very interestingly, and I share a lot of this data when I do my in-person master's classes, the Great Recession of, let's just call it 2007 through 2009, had a larger economic downturn than the time of COVID, right? Also, COVID had a way larger upside than the economic downturn of 2007, 8, 9. It was a much more gentle sort of thing way back then. But there was so much money dumped into the economy that it became an irrational sort of, it became an irrational economy during COVID. And I think a lot of us got used to it. So what we're experiencing now, starting in 2004, I believe we're coming down the slide. The gross domestic product of the U.S. is going down. Leads were slightly down in my business. And I started looking into the data. And I realized that with perspective and time, and because I've been around for 17 years professionally operating a business, I realized that it isn't a bad economy. We're going back to normal. Yes, we are feeling a slight downside, but downside compared to what? which was an artificial high. So if you've only started your business in the last couple of years, all you know is the irrational exuberance of a COVID times. And right now we're slightly riding that down. I think we're about leveled off right now. But if you look at the trend line from 2010 through now and you minus out COVID, there's a beautiful steady GDP increase in the United States, 0.5%, 1%, which is absolutely normal. So for me, we are not having a bad economy. We are going back to a normal economy, which means all the basic principles of business stand even more, right? Leads are not going to be easy for you. Labor is going to be easier, but not easy, right? It is what it is. I see so much chatter on the painter internets about what do you charge for something? Where do you get leads? I'm dead in the water. I'm having trouble hiring. Guess what, folks? I'm here to tell you as honestly and brutally as I can. If you own a business, you're going to have to solve labor, you're going to have to solve leads, and you're going to have to solve leadership for the rest of time. I believe our painter industry is on a teeter-totter, give or take. And what it is on either side of that teeter-totter is labor and leads. And our painter economy switches between some things being easier, some things being harder. I believe that, this is a way gross oversimplification of what we do, but I truly believe that the teeter-totter has tipped from labor being hard and leads being easy during the time of COVID to now labor being easier and leads being hard. This does not mean stuff is going to fall in your lap. You still need to have a consistent, professional, data-driven approach to finding labor and to finding leads. It's never going to just happen for you, right? If you want these things to be solved by other people, it's going to cost you an enormous amount of time and money, and then you're not a business owner, right? The reward, the net profit for what we do is basically a function of our ability to solve labor and to solve leads, and then, of course, the leadership portion to manage all of it. So why do I say this? I saw a very distinct data point about 2 months ago. We hired a round of apprentices, as we do about 2-4 times a year, and we had 100 applicants in a couple days. I spent only a couple $100 on Indeed. We did a bunch of social media posting. I had to shut everything down. We just had too many applicants. It took me about 55 hours to get through the entire recruiting process of sussing them out, referral checks, background checks, phone interviews, in-person interviews, offers, all this other stuff. And we have two of the best candidates that we've had in a very, very long time. And so what this tells me is that I've not had that experience for the last decade. It's taken $5,000 and an enormous amount of time to get some candidates in here. And once in a while, we tripped over a very good candidate, but a lot of the times we're really we had to really work to find our good candidates over the years. So that is another data point, either correlated or causation for my teeter-totter theory of things flipping. Now, leads have been a little tougher. So what I've done is when the teeter-totter flipped from leads to labor, what I started doing is allocating a lot more time and money resources into marketing versus recruiting. And again, I don't stop any of these things. I just realize that some things might be easier, some things might be harder. So I have a bunch of data for you guys. Leads have picked up over the last couple of weeks here. We've getting back to that normal springtime, somewhere between 40 and 50 leads a week. My guys are turning in over 40 estimates a week right now, my estimating team. We're going for it. In fact, my newest estimator, Tom, just set a personal best. He had a $100,000 sales week in the last couple of weeks here. And so that's an indication. Typically, we see an uptick in spring. The most interesting things for me as a business owner with all this data is how big of an uptick and when is it going to happen? We know there's going to be a surge in spring. And typically when you look at leads in a home service company, especially a painting business, the first 2 to 3 months of the year are just kind of flat. And in fact, February typically goes down in production and sales and leads. And then what you have is a abrupt rise amount of leads. And then it kind of plateaus off and then it kind of peters off until about September and October every year. So it's typically not like a steady plateau where it goes like this. It's typically kind of an abrupt rise and then a peter off through the year. And that's the rhythm of almost every year that we see here. So why do I say that and why does it matter? Because if you have a spike of demand and then it decreases the rest of the year, you have a certain amount of time to capitalize on the increased demand in the industry. So one of the strategies that we've done is to time the marketing, our marketing spend and our marketing budget to that increased demand to capitalize at the demand period. There's a counterintuitive way of thinking about this as well, which is during the low demand periods, increased demand with increased marketing. I've done experiments over the last 5 years. I haven't found that to be as effective as capitalizing during the high demand period. So we're seeing leads up. We're seeing leads very strong. We're seeing the appointment set ratio go up, and we're seeing the success ratio of those sales go up too, which is not a surprise to me at this time of the year. I don't think it has an indication of anything other than I know that this comes every year. It happened to show up about the second week of March this year, and it happened steadily. Steady, steady, steady. And I have a great little data point because I have two estimators out in the field, a team of these guys, and their success ratios and their average job sizes and their sales numbers go up together, which tells me that a little bit of that externality, that demand does play into this. It's not just one amazing salesperson, even though I have two. It's not just one amazing human being going out there and getting an outlier effect. It is actually like, when you see all the numbers rise together over two humans who are very different humans, you know that it's a pretty good, it's a pretty good sort of like indicator of the industry. ZM Consulting, do you still have to pay for leads, or are you just branding? No, no, no. Every professional company pays for leads. A professional company does not run alone on word of mouth, repeat, and referral. We'll probably spend about 6 to 7% of all of our revenue this year on this. There's about 13 different channels. There are 4 main channels that we get most of our stuff from. 2 are paid, 2 are unpaid. And no, we have a very, here, actually, this might be a good time to show you this. You might appreciate this, ZM Consulting. So I'm building out my operations manager dashboard. So my 2 main roles in my own painting company are the operations manager and the marketing manager, especially in a time like this where marketing is key and I can't really find a vendor to help me out with it that's effective as our internal systems. So basically, this is my operations manager dashboard here. I'm building this out in preparation for hiring out this role and having somebody run the operations of my company for me. But for now, we have a whole bunch of data. And you can see that we have, this is a feeder spreadsheet for all this stuff that comes in here. And this prints it out to this kicks it out to a dashboard like this here. And so what I track are the big things that make my company function. So we have starting off with number leads. Leads are the most important. We can't possibly begin to hit our goals if we don't have enough opportunities to sell jobs. Then once we have enough opportunities, we need enough sales in order to complete our job. So there's 2 keystone or cascading things that need to happen this year by my bet, which is we got to have leads, we got to have sales. After that, we've done an amazing job over the last 3 to 5 years of recruiting craftspeople, master craftspeople, labor, subcontractors, trade partners, all that other stuff. We have a ton of capacity we're not even using now. So for me, when I think what has to happen this year, recruiting and training painters is not what I need to do. It's not number 1 this year. We're going to do it, but it's not number 1. Leads and sales are that. So I'm happy to report to you guys right now that in a year where leads and sales are becoming increasingly harder, very hard, in fact, we are 8% ahead on leads. We have 8% more leads than I projected at this time of the year. And even the cooler thing, look at this spike right here. We are 35% of my projected sales this year. So you can see that my gray is my projected. This is how I want our year of sales to be. This is how I want our year of leads to be. You can see the plateau effect, which I'm predicting. And then the tan is actual. So you can see that humans are humans, including our clients, and we have spikes. It's not a steady line. And you can see that when we had this big spike right here, this is our increased demand. This is when our guys are turning in 40 plus estimates a week, and we're out there just rocking and rolling. In fact, these are when my 2 guys are putting up $100,000 sales weeks a piece, give or take out there. So I'll be happy to say too that we also have I'll show you my production dashboard. This is what my people focus on right here. And this is all of the jobs waiting for us. This is all the jobs waiting for us in the company. And we stacked up in the last little bit. Our queue just doubled. So we're at about 750K in jobs that are all sold. They are either on the schedule or waiting to get on the schedule, but we're ready to rock and roll. And a large portion of those, I would probably say maybe even up to 2/3 is exterior right now. And I want to start exterior season this week. The weather's going to turn out great. So those are the things that I'm building out. I look at my visual dashboard as kind of an indicator. I want to have a quick look at where the company is, the pulse. And I have a whole bunch of these little indicators like this, where you can see my numbers right here. That'll give me the quick visual indicator of how we're doing. And I look for things that are kind of out of stride. Now, This will tell us what we're doing this year, like if we're on our track to hit our goals or not. But the most important thing for me is that I have years and years and years of this, and I can see trends in the pattern. And so why do it's pretty simple to see. You see the gray plateau here. This is typically how every year is structured. I look back over the last probably 8 years of data in my company, and I looked at, as a percentage of revenue, how much do we produce each month, right? So if we do $3 million worth of painting a year, what percentage of that revenue is done in June or February? And we can look back, because it's not steady. You don't take 3 million divided by 12 and you produce all that equal. That's not accurate for December and January versus July and August. We obviously produce more there. So what we want to do is have an accurate projection of what we're going to do. And I have all these past years to do it. In fact, I can show you guys this here. This is projection of a lot of past years. And you can see they all follow a general trend like this. And then what I can do is make bets on it. Now, the interesting thing is no humans are consistent. We've been rapidly growing the company. We've been changing out humans, innovating our systems. So now, as a leader, now you have to figure out, well, what do I project based on that? How much does changing out one human cause this, or the structure of this? What if I have this type of labor do this type of job? What if we change our pricing model on some of our estimates, things like that? So it's never just consistent. Well, we did that last year. We're going to do this year. That's not how all this stuff works. And that's what makes managers and leaders like us valuable, because we have to make bets. We have to risk a little bit in order to hit our goals during the year. So sales are up, great. Leads are up. We're doing very well. I want production to be a little higher than where it is right now, but we're feeling out the year. We're going to see how it goes. We're about to head into the busiest 5-6 months of the year. And I don't know how high or how low that's going to be. I don't know if we're going to surge and then peter out. I don't know if we're going to surge and climb. It's very hard to say, but all we can do is look at the stuff that's already happened, the indicators. Indicators are it's going to be an amazing year if you do the basics of business professionalization, which is have all those boring, unsexy things in place, have a marketing system, have a sales system, and then operate it constantly instead of just, oh my God, there's a gap in the schedule, we need to market, things like that. So that is my operations manager dashboard right there. Marketing. Our strategy this year is, like I said, we're 8% over on leads in a year where it's really hard to get leads. We've actually marketed to less zip codes. We went from 13 to about 5 zip codes, give or take. We've also concentrated our marketing to be local, to be present. We've simplified a lot of what we put out there, and we try to align our digital and our print together. So if a neighboring town gets a flyer or a mailer, I want some meta ads and some digital marketing to also align with that. So listen, I can't prove to you that this is a huge change in marketing. We changed the timing, we changed the look of it, we changed the function of it. We do more avenues, we do more consistent avenues. We changed a lot of things this year to have more concentrated market. We are up in leads. I can't tell you for certain that it's causation, that because of what I did, we're getting this outside effect, or if it's just correlated. Hey, we happen to change marketing, this would have happened anyway. I can't prove to you that that's the case, but I will say that you can't not prove it either. So we track a lot of our marketing very specifically. And what we're finding is that, yeah, this we are getting a little better cost per lead, cost per estimate, cost per completed job, and we're diversifying that marketing over many channels instead of one. So I can't prove to you without a shadow of a doubt that it's working, but I will tell you this: we're having great results, and there's nothing in there that tells me I need to change my marketing, my spend, my rhythm. The creative part of it right now, we're getting a pretty great result. And in fact, we're going to be doing one of the biggest marketing experiments, the new channels this summer, which is a street team. So we're going to have, last year we did some experiments with people, production rates, apps, flyers, door hangers, things like that. And this year we're going to have a pretty active street team out there, because I just want to round out that experiment. And even if it doesn't work, I want to present the data to you guys, just because it's a new form of marketing. And I believe marketing is kind of going to be the thing over the next, 1 to 5 years that sets a professional company apart. So also, let's talk about exterior season too. So, man, I am excited. We've had crazy ups and downs with weather here in Minnesota. And, if we're being honest, there's probably only about 75 days to paint in the upper Midwest. You minus out evenings and weekends and days where it rains and federal holidays and time that people take off, and dew that stays till 1 and high winds and all this other temperatures and all this other stuff. You probably got about 75 days to get all your painting done, probably a little more. But it's very important for us. It's a big day in the upper Midwest when we can start our exterior painting stuff. So all the temps look good, all our queue is ready, all our contractors are ready to go, and we're gonna hit it hard here in April. I would like to get at least 2 weeks of exterior painting in, so we can start chipping away, because here again, we don't have a lot of days. Everybody wants stuff done before those proverbial grad parties in late May and June. And we never know what May's going to hold. Last May, we had the wettest May in 150-year history, wettest spring in Minnesota history, 150 years of tracking data. We had the wettest spring. And again, when people will say, well, how are you ever going to get any exterior done? We set the second highest revenue amount in the 17-year company history last May, in spite of it being rainy outside. So that's why, again, folks, in a world where you can't possibly find any humans, there's no good humans, kids these days are stupid and lazy. Over the last 15 years, we were able to find all the humans we need. And in fact, we're over capacity on humans. We have people that we need to sell more work, so we can, we have extra capacity. Also, now the entire painting economy has switched to, I'm dead in the water, I don't have any leads, what about these marketing agencies, all this other stuff. And in a world where that's hard now, we're overperforming based on our projections. We have extra leads and we have extra sales at this time of the year. So now there are no extra leads and no extra sales. We're always grateful for all of them, but we're ahead of projected, which is really good. So all I can tell you is that I have a pretty good track record of, I'm not way at the forefront of predicting these things, but I can sense them when they're coming. I use data from my company. I make some big changes. I talk to you guys about them. And now there's a track record of this sort of stuff happening, which is, I don't think I'm a prognosticator. I certainly can't predict this better than anybody else. I just think this is what professional business owners do, which is they look at externalities, they look at internalities, they look at their plan, they look at some simple data, and they got to make some bets on their feelings as well too, and then make a plan for your people. And so far, those bets are turning out really, really well. I'm very pleased with them, and I can't wait to start exterior season. So, what we have coming up for Ask a Painter here is we're going to get in a pretty good rotation of shows about the craft, shows with guests, friends of Ask a Painter. We're going to do some leadership and management stuff. And then we're going to do sort of like miscellaneous shows, grab bags, things like that. And we're going to get a pretty good rotation of those shows coming up here. Also, one other thing I want you guys to know, if you have show topic suggestions, if you have anything that you would like me to custom create a show, feel free. You can email me anytime. You can put it in the comments right here. We're going to have a great run of shows coming up here for you guys as we kind of enter the normal time. We're done with mastering the basics. We go back to the normal shows, and I really look forward to this sort of thing coming up. I'm going to, one of my goals this year with the vision and strategy of Ask a Painter is to get a set date and a set time. And I will tell you this, the only thing that prevents me from doing that is my travel schedule. Because you can say, well, listen, Monday I typically don't travel. Fridays I typically don't travel, but then there's ups and downs to everything, which is, hey, I know that evenings or weekend mornings work the best for Ask a Painter. The viewership goes up, just like this. Problem is, I would like my weekends with my family, right? And evenings work well, but then even when I don't travel on a Monday, sometimes I travel Monday night, and typically I would do the show in the evening. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I leave those kind of open for travel during the week. I don't travel every week, but that's the hot and heavy. So if I say it's always Tuesday night, probably 20% of the shows this year I'm going to miss. So I am looking for a standardized date and time that corresponds with my professional life, corresponds with my personal life. One of my goals this year is to just get some certainty for you guys and do that sort of thing. And it may be one of those things where a consistent date and time will have to be more important and will have to trump there being, the best shows on earth. I may have to just get out there and say, by God, it's at 8 p.m. Central Monday night every night. And sometimes I'll be on a plane flying to Orlando and things like that. It might just be what it'll be. So one of my goals for you guys is to get a set date and time so we can have some consistency here. So, all right, everybody, PCA Craftsmanship Forum coming up this week. I would urge you to be there. Again, it only happens once a year. It's the height of the craft. You're going to meet some of the biggest thought leaders, people pushing the barrier, pushing the outer limits of what is possible with the craft. And of course, to be around those people and kind of witness how they think and all this other stuff is a pretty amazing thing. And of course, if you guys have any show suggestions or questions, you can always post the comments here. I'll be looking at these comments later. Other than that, I want to hang out with my family. I'm going to do some land management, and I can't wait to start business again Monday morning to look at all those fresh indicators. My March numbers are coming back from my accountant, and then I get to verify all those. I've just finished up a quarter of job costing, so I get to analyze those, and it's a big data heavy time for me. Quarter one is over. I get to look at the trends, and then I get to start making new bets, confirming my current bets, or having some new ones. So, all right, everybody, thank you for watching. Appreciate you all. Have a great weekend, and have a great start to the exterior season if you're in the upper Midwest.